welcome to Rise and Trending. It's your boy Prosper right here, and today I've got a very nice topic that I want to talk about, which is um, one Africa, one currency. Is this something that we can do, or is this something impossible? I mean, because for over 60 years we've been having this sort of conversation, and I am not really sure if this is something that can be achievable. And I know that there are some factors. There's certain things uh, that are put in place, or maybe uh, things that we have to do to be able to achieve that level of sovereignty and freedom, including the ability to execute. And that will only take oneness. And that's what we are covering today on Rise and Training. I will see you in a sec. So imagine waking up in Nairobi, flying to Lagos, and shopping in Johannesburg, all using the same currency, no exchange rate, no dollar dependency, just one African currency for over 1 billion people. So the idea of a united Africa isn't a new one. More than 60 years ago, leaders like Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana and Julius of Tanzania were already talking about the United States of Africa. And in 1963, the Organization of African Unity was born, and later in 2002, it became the African Union. With Agenda 2063, they promised one central bank, one monetary fund, and yes, one African currency. So this basically means that this has been going on for a very, very, very long time, but we are still here for some reason. And I did some research, and I just want to read out some comments, the people around the world, their opinion on this. So let's see what this guy called Abi said. So the tagline is, because Africa still does not have the political unity like in Europe. And that is true, because we fight against each other. So for economic unity, it is important to have political trust and unity. Although the African nations have made efforts towards regional cooperation, but they still have a long, long way to go. Most of the African nations are war-torn and unstable, and hence trade and commerce cannot flourish. There is no leader nation to bring all the African countries together. So he says there is no leader nation to bring all the African countries together. So what he's basically saying is that there's a need for a nation so powerful, or a leader so powerful, to bring everyone together. So he begins to say that the Horn has notorious Somali pirates and Djibouti, although it also has Ethiopia, one of the most progressive nations. The North faces political instability, and the West is poor and have many fragmented small nations. The central part is strife with civil war. The South has South Africa, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, which are in like a much better position. But political maturity and economic development will set the tone for an urgent need of common currency, which would be beneficial for a continent such diverse and better connected like Africa. Okay, so in short, what Abi is basically trying to say is that Africa is just all over the place at the moment. We are everywhere. There's everything going on. Let's see what Ishmael Muhammad is saying. So Ishmael is saying, and what purpose would that even save? Africa is too vast and diverse for all countries to agree to the same currency. And I think you should just forget them up for now. Because Africa is so big to an extent that you can fit in so many countries in it. And you will remain with some space. Then he goes on to say, another reason this is unlikely is that most Africans know more and trade more with China and Europe and America than they trade with each other. Most Africans barely know the capital cities of their neighboring countries, bro. Not to talk about following the internal politics and business opportunities in countries that are not theirs. And that's so true to an extent that I've noticed that sometimes we'll be talking about the economies in Europe or in America, we're talking about politics, what's going on, what their leaders are doing, the business opportunities and stuff, when we can create those opportunities in our very own countries. And then he says the information gap between most African countries must be bridged before attempting a single currency. It basically means that African nations, African states needs to have a stable communication. Another point is that most countries on the continent simply do not produce enough high-value items to keep any currency afloat. Nigeria, the largest economy on the continent, depends only on crude oil. If the prices of those tanks, it can tank the entire continent, dragging down the economies of other countries and creating uncontrollable inflation content nationwide. Wow, he's basically said the truth. I know most people wouldn't even know what the capital city of their neighboring country is. Yeah. But I'll say I know the capital city of Malawi. That should be Lilongwe, Botswana. That sounds like Gaborone. Yeah. I know a few. Yeah, but he's so right. I mean, so let's go on a short break, and then when I'm back, we'll catch up from here. Welcome back. So, Africa has 54 countries, and it has got over 43 currencies currently. And just to think of it, this is it's a big continent. And in order for us to reach that level of stability, it would take so much. It would really take so much. It would really, really take so much. And I think some of the things that I got from some of the comments that we had was that African countries need to improve on communication. We need to write our own history, first of all, which is quite important. Because basically at the moment, everyone in Africa wants to leave Africa. I mean, most people, I would say. We want to leave Africa and then develop out there. One of the most people that actually inspire me in life is Vusi. Vusi is an interesting man that has basically trained me to, I think he doesn't know me, but through the videos that he posts on social media and stuff like that, he's basically trained me to think in different ways, in the ways that I see money, in the ways that I just view the African continent as a whole as well. He's basically one of the people that is being vocal on the African continent and teaching people about business and stuff like that. And that is the kind of people that we have to be. If you don't actually know him, you can actually follow him. Yeah. So it's a beautiful vision, but reality is that this is a complicated conversation. Africa is not one economy. It's 54 very different ones. 54 very different ones. For example, you've got Nigeria, that is Africa's largest economy. And next to Nigeria, you've got Niger, which is one of the poorest. So, to me, how do you put those two under the same currency without some form of chaos? And then leaders also hate giving up power. That's something that I've come to notice. Like, leaders just hate giving up power. Like, power belongs to me. You want to be president for 20 years. This is happening everywhere. It's happening in my country currently. Talk of corruption. Corruption. And I think this whole idea of vote for me, I'm going to be your servant, and then when you vote for them, they become the leaders of the people. They stop being servants. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's a very complicated conversation. Wow. But Africa's got everything. South Africa's got diamonds. Nigeria has got oil. Zambia has got copper. Most of these African countries have got all the resources that they need. And we can eventually rise if our leaders say something, if our leaders want to. Maybe. So yeah, this was the conversation that we had today on Rise and Trending, and I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Feel free to leave me any comments if you're watching from YouTube, if you are watching from Facebook, or if you're listening to this from Spotify. Just a follow would truly help out. And thank you so much. My name is Prosper, and I will see you next time.